Today is Sunday, November the 10th, 1991. I'm Carolyn Cooper Elliott in Plainview, Texas, with my Uncle Mike and Aunt Jewel and Aunt Mary. I would like for Mary and Mike to tell a little bit about their family, and then when it's time for Aunt Jewel, when you talk about meeting Aunt Jewel, then you can introduce her, and then y'all can go on and tell about your family life. Okay, Mike?
I'm on the air.
You're full of air.
My name is W.W. Kirk. My father was W.W. Kirk, but his name was Wilson Wood, and I'm Woodrow Wilson. So it doesn't make me a junior, Mary.
I know that.
I was born in Plainview, Texas, December 21, 1916. I have a twin sister. There were 6 children, and my twin sister and I are the only 2 that's left of the 6. I am older than my twin by a few minutes.
5 minutes.
Mary, please. And of course, smarter.
And much prettier.
Turn it over for me.
Oh, okay.
She's ready. She's on. You got to find out where she's
Wait a minute, I got a better one there.
Oh, my.
I'd like to give you a summary of my life for the past 50 years. It'll be a brief summary as follows. After high school in 1935, I attended junior college and business college for approximately 2 years. Employed as a furniture store, as a collector and bookkeeper for 2 years. Employed by the Plainview Sanitarium and Clinic, later Plainview Hospital and Clinic Foundation, from 1939 to 1963 in the following capacities: office manager, business manager, administrator, with the exception of 2 years in the Army, in field artillery, so action World War II in the European theater of operation. From 1963 until 1967, was employed in Plainview, Texas with a group of physicians as their business manager of a medical clinic and a manager of the real estate holdings and administrator of a nursing home owned by said physicians. From 67 to 83, was employed as chief executive officer of Roosevelt General Hospital in Portales, New Mexico, and retired in January 1982 and moved back to Plainview, Texas. Presently, I'm fully retired after serving as a hospital consultant and looking after doctor families affairs and real estate holding, as well as real estate of my own. I married Jewel Jones of Meta, Texas, in 1936. My wife and I have 2 children, 8 grandchildren,
And
7 great-grandchildren. Thank you, Joe. We will celebrate our 56th
54th. No.
56th anniversary in May 1992.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm a member of the Central Christian Church, past division commander of the 48th and state of the state of Texas, past commander of the American Legion, Plainview, Texas, past exalted rulers of the Elks Lodge of Plainview, Texas, past member of the Disabled American Veterans and the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Also, I'm a past member of the 4-County Draft Board, served in the Texas National Guard from 33, 4, 5, 6, and 6, past chairman of the Hill County State Health Board, past president of the New Mexico Hospital Council, and I'm residing in Plainview, Texas at the present time as stated. I love my family very much, and my twin sister and my niece Carolyn. She is my favorite niece, and Julie's my favorite wife.
That's nice.
There's
Whoever's
not much more to
present.
say,
Yeah.
so I will be off for the air for the time being.
But Dodie, you did good.
Now, would you like to introduce your wife?
I don't know what folks talk.
Oh, tell us about when you met Jewel. Do you remember
Yeah.
when you first met?
Yes, I remember.
Tell that.
Oh, okay. Jewel said she'd like to tell it.
Yeah, tell
Yeah.
it, Jewel.
Stay out of the way.
I introduced Mike and Jewel.
No, you didn't.
No, let me
Mary.
introduce my wife.
I know.
Mary, you
exactly.
promise
Okay.
you're not on air, are you?
Yeah, this is the best part. Come on.
I'd like to introduce you my bride-to-be, bride of many years, Miss Jewel Francis Kirk. Miss Kirk, would you please get on there and
Thank you, Mike.
talk to her?
I want to correct Mary about her introducing us.
I thought I did.
Go ahead.
I come from Meta, Texas in 1935 to attend Leopard's Business College. And they were nearly all girls at the business college. But the word got around that Mary was going to Leopard's also with me. And the word got around that Mary's twin brother was coming to start the school. Well, all of us girls are all primed for the new boy that was coming in. And I'll never forget, as long as I live, the morning Mike come into school. He had on this big navy blue football sweater with a big red P on the front of it, and lace-up boots, and those Jodhpur
Jodhpur pants.
pants that they wore. And he come strutting in like he owned the world. And I looked at him and I thought, that's going to be my man one of these days. And Mr. Lippert, Mike was sitting in the other room from me, and he always said he fell in love with me looking at my knees. But that's when we wore real short dresses, you know. But anyway, he'd pick his books up every day and come in and sit at my table. Mr. Lippert would move him back. Every day he would do this. Finally, I thought, well, he'll never ask me for a date. Finally, he did. And wanted to know if I wanted to go to the show with him. I told him yes. And he come by the apartment where I was staying, and he had on the sloppiest old hat I believe I ever saw. And he knocked on the door, and I went to the door, and he said, "Is there a Miss Jones living here?" So that's how I met Mike.
Well, let's see. You want to? You got married in Plainview? Did
No, we got married in Meadow.
In Meadow.
Then Baptist preacher.
And I might come down. I went home. I quit business college and went home because Mom and Daddy knew I wasn't doing anything on chasing around Mike, wasn't learning anything. So they just marched me home. So Mike didn't have a car, and after I went back to Meadow, he got busy and got him a car so he could come see me. And he was down every weekend to
Court.
yeah, to court me, I guess. So we got married in May the 10th, 1936, and at that time it was Mother's Day. And Mike had come down and spent the night there at our house. Well, next morning he had Midge by 7 o'clock running, getting me ready. Let's go, get married. Just having a fit. He was ready to go. So about 8 o'clock, awful thing about it, this Brother Horn, who married us, had been our family preacher for years and years and years, and baptized all of us and everything. And I wanted him to marry us, but he had a daughter who was named Jewel, and I didn't want Jewel to know anything about me getting married. So I couldn't tell Brother Horn that I was coming for him to marry. And that morning, about 8 o'clock, Mike and Midge, she went with us
That's your
to
sister.
stand up with us. And we drove up Brother Horn's house, and I'll never forget, bless his heart, he was so embarrassed. He was out in the backyard with his shirt off, just his pants and his suspenders, feeding his chickens. And we went to the door and I told Miss Horn we'd come to get married. Well, he come in and he was so embarrassed. I'll never forget, and I felt sorry for him. It was just honoriness on my part that I didn't tell him. I mean, I should have, really. And he'd have been dressed and everything for us. But anyway, when we got married, we left out the door, and I knew Mike was supposed to pay him something. And I thought, well, I'll ask Mike. And I asked him, I said, are you going to pay Brother Horn anything? Oh, yeah, I forgot it. And he reached in his pocket, and he had $2 rolled up and handed it to Brother Horn. And that was our wedding
That's a
day.
cute story.
How'd you get back to Plainview?
Oh, we had a
Model A Ford.
Model A
With
Ford,
clean gasoline in it.
and we had lunch at my mother and daddy's house, and the whole family, and my grandpa Jonas was there, and we had lunch, and well, Mike, right after lunch, he was ready to head out of there. He wanted to get back to Plainview to see our little house. So, Mama had given me a mattress, and I had a shower down there. You know, the showers they used to give, these cup towels and things you really needed,
Right,
really.
that you had to
Yeah,
have.
had to have. And I don't know what all, but that Ford was loaded down. That mattress we looked like a bunch of Okies.
Did you have some food in it?
And I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't remember. But anyway, we drove into Plainview. We got out here at the edge of town instead of coming the main way. Mike makes a shortcut so none of his buddies will see him with that car, that mattress hanging out the window and everything. And we drove up this little house that Mike had all furnished and
Fixed up.
everything. And Miss Kirk had bought a bill of groceries like spices and things.
Oh, my.
And everything, and she had one of these graters, you know, up in the cabinet, and it had a recipe
Oh.
on the side of this grater, and it was Mike's favorite chocolate pie.
Oh.
And I've still got that same grater that I use every time I use one.
Oh, that's terrific.
That's wonderful.
But when we drove up the house, Ted and Zed Johnson's little brother were there on their bicycles.
Kirk.
Yeah,
Well, them people don't know.
well. And they just grinned. I mean, they just like two little sheepish boys, you know.
Here, see, Ted.
And they got on those bicycles and took off. I mean,
They didn't have to unpack.
oh no, Lord, they just took off. They was just wanting to be there when we drove in. See.
No, I'd run them all.
I bet you did too.
And that's about the extent of our.
They didn't go and tell Mike's friends that y'all were there?
Oh, I'm sure they did. I never did. We never did hear about it, but I imagine they did. And Zed Johnson and Charlie McDonald. Of course, we'd been buddies all these years. Not too many years that Mike and I dated, but all this time. And every day, Mike was working at Baines, and every day, about noon, right after he left to go back to work, here them two boys would come by, wanted to talk. And finally, I told Mike one day, I said, I wish Zed and Charlie had quit coming by here every day at noon. I usually would lay down and take a nap, you know. So I guess Mike told him. I don't remember, but anyway, they didn't come by anymore. And I know when I got pregnant with Virginia Ann, Mike and Zed were sitting out on the front porch of this little old house, and I heard Mike tell Zed, said, "I'm going to be a daddy."
Aw.
Isn't that nice?